was a California August in '82 when my mother gave birth to the Spam Tech crew. 13 years later had me looking at Linux. Programming made me stronger like Papa the Spinach. Now, people know that a DG carry weapons, but if that weapon is a nest, you step in. We finish Contra with only one life. Finish Metal Gear 2 using only a knife. Right, people might think that we're frontin', then they see all the news online that I'm putting. My rhymes flow just like my code, even though my source is owned by SCO. What about my Indian? I keep it low. See me on Gunbound, call me pro. I'm a certified legend, but I'm still your bro. This is a PSA, boy, the more you know. I'm a legend everywhere that I go. Every distro, every Craigslist hoe pumping they fist, yo. Can't get enough of Waddick Crackers jams, and they can't get enough of Waddick Crackers spam. I'm a legend everywhere that I go. Every distro, every Craigslist hoe pumping they fist, yo. Can't get enough of Waddick Crackers jams, and they can't get enough of Waddick Crackers spam. I said my heart's wide open, goatsy, and my windows min like Ho Chi. I'm just another nerd, but I rap about it. Shit talk on the net, then I laugh about it. I've been caught slipping like the Star Wars kid when I'm on eBay sniping a bid. Catch me on a webcam like Numa Numa. See me at the club and I'm rocking Puma. Another net legend if you see me yodel. Spit a little something that's anecdotal. Tell me about the time the E-bombs world stole your chop like I stole your girl. Catch me on Gen May, not something awful. Low tax would ban me, raffle. I'm a certified legend, but I'm still your bro. This is a PSA, boy, the more you know. I'm a legend everywhere that I go. Every distro, every Craigslist hoe pumping they fist, yo. Can't get enough of Waddick Crackers jams, and they can't get enough of Waddick Crackers spam. I'm a legend everywhere that I go. Every distro, every Craigslist hoe pumping they fist, yo. Can't get enough of Waddick Crackers jams, and they can't get enough of Waddick Crackers spams. Yeah. I'm a legend everywhere that I go. Every distro, every Craigslist hoe pumping they fist, yo. Can't get enough of Waddick Crackers jams, and they can't get enough of Waddick Crackers spam. I'm a legend everywhere that I go. Every distro, every Craigslist hoe pumping they fist, yo. Can't get enough of Waddick Crackers jams, and they can't get enough of Waddick Crackers spams. Yeah.
What's up, meatbags? It's the often imitated, never duplicated Tony TGD, and I'm joined by Dolan, aka Drew, comics elite, writer, co-creator, soon-to-be legend of Unholy Nightmare. What's up, Drew?
Hey, not much, man. Yeah, it's a beautiful day here in Indiana. Got a fresh cut for a fresh interview. I'm ready to talk some comics. Ready to talk Unholy Nightmare.
Awesome. So, do you prefer Dolan or Drew? How do you want me to?
Doesn't matter. I'm used to Dolan, Drew, asshole, whatever. I get. When you do reviews on YouTube, you gotta have a thick skin, and when people start leaving stuff on you, it's like, come on, is that the best you got? My training instructor and basic training in the Air Force did better than that. Jeez.
I hear you. I get all those comments all the time. In fact, I have a slew of negative comments I got to get to later after this. So many angry people on the internet. I don't know why. Yeah, I just try to spread.
That's good for.
Yeah. I'm just here to spread love and peace and discuss comic books and other media, and they want to all be mad. So you got this little Kickstarter going on here called Unholy Nightmare. What's this about?
Well, yeah. So I sent you the link to it. But yeah, Unholy Nightmare is effectively a superhero horror story where the world of superheroes and horror meet, but nothing is what it appears to be. Issue 1, this issue, we are already fully funded after a week, but I like one thing I compared to is the movie Blade. how when the movie opens, it opens like a horror story in that meat locker scene with the dance party, the vampire dance party, and then it turns into a superhero action story. It's kind of along the same lines as with Unholy Nightmare '1, where it opens up. You think you're getting a superhero story where they're busting up a drug deal, but then halfway through, you get the twist, and it becomes a world of things that no one saw coming. And some of those elements are teased in some of the covers as well. But yeah, Aurelio Mazzara, the artist, and we both love superheroes. We both love horror films. So Aurelio and I thought, let's merge them together and tell a truly kick-ass superhero horror story that's going to deliver everything and every bang for your buck.
I'm interested. I like the artwork. The artwork's very awesome, and we're going to show some of it off in the campaign. But I just want to ask you, I got to ask the uncomfortable question, because we've had some other people on here with Kickstarters, and so you're fully funded at the 5,000. But is the 5,000 the actual number that you need, or is it less than what you really need?
It's 5,000. We were crunching the numbers before we launched. 5,000 is what we need to get. The whole team paid, printing, and fulfillment. $5,000 is the total.
Yeah. So what I'm hearing is he needs another $1,000, guys. So come on, we need $800 more. Let's do it. Tell your friends, support this comic.
And honestly, my goal really is $9,000, because at $9,000 we can start working on issue 2. Because I haven't mentioned it here yet, but I already have the whole first arc. The whole first 6 issues are planned out, and we already have a synopsis for the second volume. But we're ready to go for issue 2. We haven't announced it yet, but Aaron Sparrow, writer of Darkwing Duck, and did stuff at Boom Studios, he's coming on as the editor for the series now. So yeah, we have big plans in store for this series.
You had me at Darkwing Duck. That was one of my favorite shows growing up. Loved it.
And he was the writer on it. He was the writer on the comic book series, the very first one at least, and the best one. And he loves this. He loves this story, this pitch. He's one of my new best friends. Great guy, and he wants to be a part of this. I'm like, hey man, I'll bring you on as the editor. So couldn't say no to that.
All right, let's take a quick gander at the campaign here. Unholy Nightmare #1. It's fully funded, but he could still use a little extra money, guys. Come on. I know some of you are like, oh, he's funded, I'll just wait, But no, come on. Like I said, we got Dolan and forgive me, I'm really bad at names. Aurelio, I can't pronounce his last name.
Yeah, you said it right. Yeah, Aurelio. Yeah, there you go.
So Aurelio, the writer and artist of Born of Blood 5 through 5 and 6, have teamed up for an all-new series. So where'd you guys come up with this idea? I know you said, you had your thing, he had his thing, you merged it, but obviously there's more to it than that. The characters, the arc, and everything.
Yeah. It really all goes back to March this year, and we had just wrapped Born of Blood, and I was at that point. This is not hyperbole. I was working on 4 scripts at the same time. I just started I became an in-demand writer for a lot of people, namely Murat Michaels. I'm working on several projects for Murat Michaels right now. And so I started working on about 4 scripts. But at the same time, Aurelio, we talk to each other every single day. And he was sending me these concept designs for characters. He's like, hey, what do you think about this character? What do you think about this character? I'm like, yeah, those look great. Those look great. I don't know what you want me to do with them. They look great. And he's like, he's telling me like, yeah, I think about doing a series, a superhero, a monster story with these guys as a team. What do you think? I'm saying to myself silently, don't say yes. Don't say yes. Just hear them out, just humble them, just talk to them about it. And I was like, yeah, that's not a bad idea, but you should probably talk about it more, really flesh it out before we really jump into anything. And, but the thing is, from that day on, the next 2 days, we really started talking about the characters, their backstories, and their relationships, where we saw the story beginning, where we saw it ending, in the middle, the betrayals. Myself, damn it, we got a story here. I can't say no to this. So I said, all right, man, let's do this. And before we knew it, I started busting out a synopsis for issue 1. And I busted out a first draft and had people review it. They liked it. There are some minor edits here and there, but it was done in 2 drafts, and here we go. And Aurelio's blown away by how fast we got this moving, because I'm a very proactive guy, and when if someone says they're going to do something, or if I say I'm going to do something, it's going to happen. And it kind of shocks people when I say, like, yeah, we're doing this, and like, oh crap, he wasn't kidding. So yeah, from between March to now, we were busting our butts on this project to get it done and to make it look good, to make everyone feel like they're getting every bang for their buck in a comic. I want everyone to have an experience reading this, that when you get done reading this from page 1 to page 26, you're going to want to go back. Your mind's going to be blown, like, whoa, did all this just happen in one issue? You got to go back to page 1, relive the whole thing again. And yeah, I just saw a comment in here. It reminds me of the 90s X-Men vibes. Our inspiration is really, artistically at least, 90s Image Comics, that superhero action with some 80s indie horror vibes, and just meshing those two together and creating a truly superhero horror story, a great one that people can enjoy.
Sounds good to me. I'm interested. But reading this, I see it's got a undercover Chicago officer, and I go, ooh, I gotta see this, because I gotta know how accurate is my city going to be portrayed in this new comic book.
Well, so issue 1, yeah. So I'm from Indiana. I go up to Chicago frequently. So I'm a Cubs fan, by the way. So I'm always up in Wrigleyville.
So's my dad.
Hey, nice, outstanding. But one thing I do, like, so working for Comics Elite, we'll go to C2E2, and we have a booth up there every year. And so sometimes we, depending on traffic, the traffic, we always get diverted different ways getting up there. And one year I'm with Ernie, who runs the brick and mortar store. We're going through Gary, and we go through Gary. I've been through Gary several times. And this one last time I went through, I just really paid attention. And I really said to myself, oh my God, this town is a complete ghost town. You have all these buildings here, cars, nobody at all. And like I told her, this is like the land. This is like Salem's Lot. You just have this town that's built up, but no one is here. No one lives here. It's creepy. And I thought to myself later on, like, you know what? This is the perfect place for like a drug deal to go down. So I incorporated that into the story, issue 1, where I got this strange exotic drug deal going down in issue 1 in Gary, Indiana. But our character, the recluse, the main character, the vigilante, he is he's from Chicago. So is Jenny, the undercover cop. He's a North Sider. She's a South Sider. They just can't get along. We're gonna flesh that more out into issue 2. We have some fun with that. But
Star-crossed lovers.
Yep.
Super J says he wants to get bounced. He says, "Hey guys, I want to leave the stream. I'm a Southside Sox fan. Sad for you, Super J. Sad.
Hey, nobody's perfect."
All right. So it says a masked vigilante and Chicago undercover police officers stake out a drug exchange. The exotic and strange drug in question embroils them in an underworld of monsters and demons they couldn't imagine. Upon revealing their own unique monstrosities, these unlikely partners are welcomed by Redacted to join a league of monsters gathered to stop an even greater evil from taking over the world. Redacted's Batman. It's Batman, guys. It's Batman. Tell me.
You're good.
Can these potentially heroic monsters trust one another long enough to survive this unholy nightmare? Oh, he said it. He said the thing, guys. That's it. It's over. Said the name of the comic. All right. New cover reveal. Ancient by Marat Michaels. Available now. I like this cover. I like this.
Yeah. Marat's a good friend of mine, and worked with him on several projects. Still more to come with him. And I asked him, hey, man, you mind doing a cover for me? He's like, yeah, absolutely. It's like, that was easy. Jeez.
All right. So it says, check out some of the gruesome story. We have 6 pages completed to give you guys an idea of the quality you can expect. Look at that. 6 free pages, guys. Can't beat that.
There's page 1. There's the opening page right there.
The art is amazing. I love this. I've been reading so many comics with shitty art in the last couple of months.
Yeah. And that's one thing I take pride on. Like I wouldn't have done this project if I knew the art sucked, because people in the chat, if they know me, I reviewed comics on Comics Elite for 2-3 years, and I pride myself on having good taste in interior art. And I love our pages in this. They look amazing, and we actually are. These 6 pages were up for sale on the Kickstarter. You could have gotten the original pages. I think we're sold out at this point. I think maybe we have 2 left. I'm not sure, but yeah, these you should have seen. The pencils are amazing.
These pages look fantastic. Like I said, the art is so detailed. It does have a X-Men vibe plus a little bit of Image in there.
Yeah, if you're a fan of the comics from the '90s, visually how they look, you're gonna love this.
The recluse, he has a look. There's something about him that I'm seeing this. I'm like, it's reminding me of something. I can't put my finger on
it. The one thing I've been told, he looks like Nightman from Malibu Comics. I was like, you know what? We didn't think of that until recently. I was like, you know what? That's yeah, that's not bad. He's got the hair and the red eyes. Well, Nightman had 1 red eye or 2, I think. I forget. I don't know.
I think he just got 1. He's got the one big red eye.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah, I can see that. Like I said, this is fantastic. I can't say enough good things about this art. So there you go, guys. 6 pages. Some of the other campaigns we looked at barely had a couple of images. Didn't really show you anything, but they're giving you the first 6 pages. And they're putting the word bubbles in there, guys. You don't even have to try to guess. The last campaign we looked at, we had no idea what the hell was going on. People were arguing over what was going on in the images because there was no words. It's fantastic. It was a lovely 40-minute conversation about how this guy died behind metal bars.
Yeah, this book, you're going to be blown away by the action, the gore, the violence, the horror, the monsters. It's going to have everything in this. I honestly, really, truly believe this has something for teenagers as well as adults. I really can see myself if I were a kid back in the 90s, like, and this was in the box of comics I would get from my uncle. I would be checking this out every day. I'd be like, oh my God, this is crazy.
Yeah. I mean, even this character, I like the way he looks visually. He's reminding me almost like a Cable, Deadpool. It's got these. Yeah. This would be right at home, like almost an X-Force comic.
Yeah.
Except for all the blood and gore. Yeah. So you can get, for $5, you get a digital PDF. We've had discussions on this channel with various creators and artists and stuff. Some people really adamant against digital comics, like they don't want it. It's destroying the industry, destroying art.
No,
and some people love it. Niobe was on. He said, like half of his sales on the Kickstarter were digital, something like that. Obviously, you appreciate the digital.
Yes, and we understand. Hey, times are tough right now economically for a lot of people. And some people are on a budget, and at the same time, we have a lot of faith in this story, and we want this comic to get out there to people, and we want them to read this. We want them to come back, and we want them to tell their friends about it, to come to this campaign, and that's how much we trust in the $5 digital PDF. That we want to put this out there. We want you guys to read it and enjoy this and reread it, and we know that you will, we guaranteed you will love this. If you love monsters, you love superheroes, you love action, you will truly love this.
All right, so I'm just admiring this art here, and like even the paneling, like it's not boring and static. You got guys popping over panels,
Yeah, trust me. Like, so I when I write my scripts, they are all incredibly detailed. Like the paneling, the layouts, the actions, and on occasion Aurelio comes up with a better idea, and I sometimes say, oh, you know what, that's not a bad idea. So like I try to make, like, it's almost like when you're shooting I don't want to say, like, I'm not a filmmaker by any means, but like when you're doing these scenes, you try to have them be dynamic angles. They pop. It's stuff that we talked about this behind the scenes. I'll go ahead and say it. It's stuff that you don't get in ISOM. These are angles, views, shots, that you don't get at all in that. And we want that to be explosive in your face. It's almost like almost 3D, but without the 3D glasses. Sandman, yes, Aurelio does rough sketches. He does rough sketch and layouts. Absolutely, 100%. He is a step by step guy. So he does storyboards and everything beforehand, so we can see the layouts, and it just progresses. Yeah.
Yeah, like people were talking about in the chat here about piracy. Are you worried about piracy? Do you think it would help you guys?
Piracy is very much a dual-edged sword. On one hand, it's good that it's getting out there, but on the other hand, it's money taken away, which stinks. And then as an independent creator, small independent creator, that does suck. But yeah, I'm very torn on it, because I do like people getting it, but at the same time, it's money out of our pocket, and I'm leaning more toward not really so much liking it. But fortunately, I've recognized a lot of the smaller stuff like this doesn't get pirated. It's typically the bigger stuff, like Dynamite, Image, Marvel, DC, that gets pirated.
Like I said, we've had many discussions about piracy and digital copies. And on the one hand, I'm always been anti-piracy, right? If you can't afford to buy something, don't buy it. You're not entitled to anything. But when it comes to projects like this, like you said, there's a dual-edged sword, because I see the argument some people make. Well, it's a new thing. I don't know if I'm going to like it. Maybe I'll pirate it, and then if I like it, I'll go back and buy it, right? And I do see that there is an argument to be made where if this is shared digitally on pirate sites, people who would have never been exposed to it might get exposed to it, and then they turn around and, because it's good, they go ahead and buy this one in the next campaign, and it's like almost free advertising.
Yeah,
and the whole out of your pocket, where like Marvel and DC could make that argument because they're big enough for like, oh, these people might have bought it. Whereas if the project is small enough, I can understand people going, well, those people probably never were going to hear of it, and they never were going to buy it anyway. So it's not really money lost. And again, I am anti-piracy. Don't pirate people. I'm just saying, like, I could, from doing this so long and having so many discussions on it, I can see the nuance everywhere.
Yeah.
But for me, I'm definitely going to be backing this after the StreamElements, because this looks good.
I appreciate it, man. And like I said, I would not have done this project if it didn't look good. And it makes me feel better. Before we launched, sharing it to professionals. I talked to so many pros behind the scenes now, and I share them the interior pages, the covers. I'm like, hey guys, what do you guys think? What do you think? They're like, dude, this looks amazing. This looks great. And I couldn't say no at that point. If these guys say it looks amazing, we got to get this out there.
So if you hit $6,000, you're going to sign the copies
for free.
For free? That's why I had to ask about it, because this is like insane to me. I've seen so many campaigns where it's like, oh yeah, give us an extra $100 and I'll slap my signature on.
Nope. Once we hit the $6,000 marker, be free signatures, and it's kind of like one thing. So Andrew Mangum, he did the main cover of Unholy Nightmare, and we kind of had the same stance. Like, we don't charge for signatures. I don't charge ever. I've signed my name at least 500 times at this point in the last 2 years, and I don't charge for signatures. I'll charge for remarks, doing like a little doodle on the cover. I'll charge for that, but not much. But signature, no.
And how much money before you get a warehouse or a van? People really want to know.
If we hit 50K, that's when we'll know. Okay, if we hit 50 or 100, it's like, okay, we have something really, really, really special here.
Right. So the first 105 backers are entered to win.
Yes. So this is something special we're doing. So week one has just come to an end. So those two pieces of art, those two pieces of original art, are going to be put up at the end of when the campaign ends. We're going to be doing We're going to be doing raffles. So those two pieces are going to go up in raffles. We're going to pick two random people from our randomizer to see who gets those two pieces of art, and then we're going to do two 2 whole new pieces for week 2, and 2 other new pieces for week 3. So everyone's going to have a different chance to win an original piece of art.
Oh, that's very interesting. I don't think I've ever seen something like this before.
We're being creative. You got to be creative, got to be new, got to be ingenuitive. And it's like we're trying to think of ways to get people into this campaign. You know, like I said, we're smaller, but we're led by Murphy LeDuc down there. She's the editor in promotion. I worked with her at Merck Publishing. She worked with Jamie Tyndall, Sean Hudachko. She worked with series like Born of Blood, Death Rage, Miss Meow. She was in charge of all those kicks. Made anywhere between $50,000 to $98,000, and she ran all those campaigns. So fortunately enough, I hired her away. she's working on Unholy Nightmare now, and she started our Kickstarter campaign here, and it looks beautiful. And I really wanted to get the word out there and to get people to come to this campaign. Like I said, we're smaller, we don't have the exposure that Merck does, but we want people to know you can trust us, you can trust Murphy, you can trust Crowd Control. These books will be getting out to you 100%.
And for people who might be unfamiliar with you, they don't know your work or your history, what have you worked on before?
So I've been doing this professionally, writing comic books for 2 years now. The first series I wrote, hey, there's Tristan. I wrote Born of Blood, the series, issues 1 through 6. It was very, very well received. It was well. The critics loved it. Fans loved it. Tristan loved it. And Aurelia was the artist on issues 5 and 6 when I think the art became really explosive and dynamic and very much like a comic book. Then after that, I worked on a crossover with Marat Michaels called Catfight vs. Naughty and Nice, which made a lot of money. It was an awesome one-shot. It was well regarded. And after that, I did some scripting with Marat on Battle Fairy and Yeti meet Red Sonja. Got to write Red Sonja for the first time. And after that, I got to write Naughty and Nice meet Red Sonja and Vampirella, which was my first time writing Vampirella, and second time writing Red Sonja, which was amazing. And after that, I wrote Power Hour number 2 for Sean Hudachko at Black Ops, and number 3, which is still in the works right now. What else have I done? I've done so much since then. But that's just a little taste of what I've done.
So what were your influences? What got you into writing comics and all that?
I would say getting me into writing comics, it was probably just, I've been reading comics since I was in first grade. And I knew from first grade, I told the story originally on Tristan's channel when we launched issue number 1 for Born of Blood. Like, I knew when I was in first grade, I wanted to write comic books. And in our class, our teacher, she had all of us get up, say like what we wanted to do when we grew up, and I had classmates that wanted to be like anesthesiologists, doctors, athletes. And
in first grade, they knew what an anesthesiologist was?
I grew up with a lot of overprivileged assholes. That's all I'm going to say.
In first grade, the kids in my class just didn't want to poop themselves. They're like, hey,
it's so funny when I look back on my class in first grade. I'm like, my God, I was in class with a lot of just assholes. And but I said I wanted to be a comic book writer, and sure enough, everyone laughed. I never ever forgot that. It's just been a little chip on my shoulder as I grew older. And
you wrote all their names down, and they all died in one of your books, right?
Eventually, yeah, they're all each and every one of them. Yeah, it's like, I hope they'll pick it up. Like, wait a minute, why does that face look so familiar?
Why is that random Doug named after me? Wait a minute.
Yeah. Oh my God, his arms were ripped apart. What the hell? But yeah, and sure enough, Born of Blood number 1 was a massive hit, made $98,000 on Kickstarter, and issues 2 through 6 were just as successful, and they were launched in stores. And I knew I was onto something, and Marat Michaels saw something special in me, so I've been able to work with him many times now. We got several projects coming out next year. So I love telling action-packed, kinetic, fun stories. stories that just move. There's a lot of action. You're just blown away. You're sucked in by what you're immersed with what's going on. I don't want anyone to be bored at all, because I believe the most egregious sin a storyteller can do is having a boring story. And I never want to be accused of having a boring comic.
Yeah. We don't want to dog on Eric July too much, but that is so fucking boring sometimes. There's panels where they're just like, it's like 6 panels of the truck driving around the corner. I'm like, what the hell is this shit?
Well, not just that, like I brought up earlier, just very bland and boring panels. There's nothing dynamic in the panels. They're just it's a lot of medium shots, and that's what I think is boring and just it's not fun and not engaging. Like the story really, to me, isn't that engaging, which is a shame. But with this, I like to think you're just fully immersed in this. You're gonna be blown away, and John Porton just said lines are meant to be broken, and you look in this comic, we are breaking those panel borders, and we love doing that. We love breaking the rules.
Yeah. All right, so Sandman wants to know: are there any artists you'd be hyped to work with that you haven't had a chance?
Oh man, so I will say that I want to work with Dan Fraga. I know Dan Fraga. I've met Dan Fraga. I love the guy, and he's one of the nicest guys I've ever met in my life. And another one is Stephen Platt. I would love to work with Stephen Platt. Met him at New York Comic Con this year. One of the experiences I ever had meeting an artist or a creator, period. I'd love to work with Mark Silvestri. I think he is still God tier after that Batman Joker Deadly Duo. He's still on his A game, which is amazing. I think those are really some of the guys right now I would love to work with that still got it.
All that, I'm one of these people that I don't know any names. I've heard all these names being thrown around, but I just I completely blank out on what they actually did. Because I've never been that person that reads the credits or looks like who actually made it. It's like, oh, I like the Batman, or I like this Hulk comic. Like, oh, who read it? Who wrote it? I don't fucking know. I'm always lost. I was saying, I'm always lost when people start talking about names and throwing people's credentials around.
Yeah, another thing about me, this is how much of a nerd I was. I was memorizing these names when I was in 1st or 2nd grade. I was memorizing everything they did. I was just that geek. And I knew when I was an adult, I would love to meet these guys. And I've gotten to meet these guys. I've gotten to work with a lot of them. And like I said, I got to work with Neil Adams. I'll never, ever, ever, ever forget that. I'll cherish that for the rest of my life.
And growing up, were you a Marvel guy or a DC guy?
I was a DC guy. I love DC. When I grew up, that time, I was very much into Zero Hour was big at that time. Nightfall, Death of Superman. I was reading all of those. I was loving all of those. And Image was coming out, so I was big into Image. I was big into Tom McFarlane, Rob Liefeld, Dan Fraga, Mark Silvestri, Jim Valentino, Eric Larson. I loved all their stuff, and especially Rob Liefeld in his studio. I was really into what he was doing in Dan Fraga and Chap Yap. I was blown away. And Stephen Platt, when he stole Stephen Platt away from Marvel Comics, that was the biggest get you can imagine. And his art blew me away. I loved it.
All right. So Sandman asked this earlier. I wanted to wait on this, but what's your favorite horror movie?
The Thing. Kurt Russell. Greatest horror film of all time.
Was Kurt Russell The Thing, or was he not?
That's the eternal question. I don't think so.
I just seen a really good YouTube video on this guy's breaking it down why Kurt Russell was The Thing, not just at the end, but throughout the whole movie. I was like, ooh, it's mind blowing. It's possible.
That's what's great about that film. One of the things, that's one of the many things great about that film, is that we're still talking about that movie to this day, still debating that film to this day. That shows you how powerful that film is.
All right. So like George asked, where's the link? And I just put it right now in the chat. because I'm a bad host. I should have put that in there.
I didn't say it. You said it.
I've been off my game today. Tired
You're
lately.
blown away by the art. That's what it is.
Yeah, that too. And I was up late. I had we were doing a stream, and then EVS decided to jump on, and then Eric the Bunks, and then Vito, and then they were all talking. I was falling asleep. It was like 1 a.m. So, as a indie comic guy, are you just trying to make good art? Are you fighting some culture war, and you're gonna, stick it to the man or something? I don't know what it is.
No, I mean what Aurelio and I are sticking it to is our stories that are boring, bland, and comics that don't tell a story. Comics that are more focused on an agenda or something else as opposed to the story, as opposed to what makes characters and making them unique. So I will say this, I've said it before. It's like if you're completely, I say cynical, burnout, just tapped out from Marvel, DC, and the others, this is the book you should be reading. This is what comic books should be. And I will stand on that hill, fight on that hill to the day I die. This comic is what you want in a comic book. This gives you the action, it gives you the horror, it gives you the suspense, it gives you the drama, it gives you the intrigue, it gives you the betrayal. It gives you everything you want in a comic book without any of the BS, none of the agendas, none of the Queensplay shit. This is what you want in a comic. It's fun, it's engaging, it makes you want to read it again.
And how many spin-offs have you got planned on this comic already? Because I know that's the hot thing now is like add characters that show up for like a panel, and then don't worry, guys, we're going to spin off 27 books off of this.
I will. We have planned after this first issue, because we're now funded. We're in the subsequent issues. We're going to have after the main story. The main stories are going to be around 24 to 26 pages, but in the back, we're going to have 10 to 12 page origin stories or prequel stories for some of these characters. We're going to do one for the name that's redacted. We're going to do one for the Recluse. We're going to do one for Jenny. We're going to do one for the Golem. It's going to show up in issue 2. And we're going to do one for Trinacria, who's the one who's got the new cover by Murat Michaels. So I'm going to be bringing on different creators to help tell some of these stories as well, which is going to be awesome. And those.
So I got to ask, because I'm looking at it. Is this the redacted? Is this the redacted guy?
Nope. No, it is not.
Oh, so he's not even. You didn't even.
Nope. Didn't even show him.
Now, even more. Now, like, oh man, because this already looks good, and these guys have great design. So now I'm wondering, what is this redacted? This is how you build intrigue, because just have a good comic where things look interesting and people want to know more.
Exactly. And characters you care for, characters you want to know more about them. You want to know about their origins. What were they like? Because the Recluse we're setting up is that he wasn't always the Recluse. Maybe because he's like John Wick and he said, what if John Wick and Spider-Man were the same person? But what if he was younger? What if he was a more like Spider-Man? He was a happy-go-lucky kid with spider powers, but something happened to him that sent him down a dark path. And this is what happens. We're going to be telling stories like that. And Jenny, did she know she was a wolf? We'll find out more about that. We want to build that intrigue where people want to know more, and we're ready to tell those stories.
You hear that, guys? That's a werewolf, a female werewolf. Someone hide this comic from Bianca. She's going to go nuts. John Porton says, I missed the Skippets and Mez with the side of top 10. You guys saved me a lot of money and time with your old review show.
Thank you. I hear that whenever I go to conventions. I hear it so many. I get at least 5 to 10 people come up to the booth and tell me that they missed the show, and I'm always looking at Sean. I'm like, Sean, hey man, you just heard it. Wasn't me.
So do you think that there's extra pressure because you did review comics that people are going to be?
Absolutely. I mean, they're going to be. I mean, if I post a shitty comic, they're going to be holding my feet to the fire like, hey, man, this comic looks like shit. This comic looks like a comic you would have fucking roasted back in the day. And I don't want to be accused of that. I don't want to be a hypocrite in that end. because I love comic books. I love comics. And I want to produce kick-ass comics. I want to produce a comic that I would have in my top 10. I want to produce a comic that would be my number one pick of the week. This is what I believe I would have as my number one pick of the week.
Samurai Snowman says, "Yeah, what happened to that show?"
Well, it's multiple things. One, I was getting a lot of writing work, still am. So that's taking up a lot of time. Writing takes a lot of time. Kyle, my brother, he had a baby and he moved. So there are those factors. And Sean's been busy with his multiple companies now. And just there's a lot of small factors that kicked into us kind of stopping the show for right now. But there have been talks. We talked with Sean about maybe possibly bringing it back. We'll see what happens. But just a lot of things, just a lot of factors took place.
Stuff happens, guys, is what he's saying.
Life happens.
Yeah. So Figure Drawing wanted to know, what did you think of the Werewolf by Night special, the Marvel one-shot? Have you seen it?
I think it was one of their better produced products that Marvel's done since Endgame. Probably one of the top two. There's Guardians of the Galaxy 3, then Werewolf by Night. I love the black and white aesthetic. I think that was the best choice that they did. And I think someone said, or they released they're going to do it in color. I'm like, no, you just fucking ruined it. That's what made it special. That's what made it unique. You told the story in black and white. That's what made it awesome. But that's their. But why not? I thought it's one of the better produced ones.
Yeah, I think they released it in color for this Halloween.
I would not have done that. I think that's stupid. Something special, sacred, but yeah, whatever.
Yeah, I didn't even watch the color version. I was like, no. John Porton says, I would trust Drew to give an honest review of generic July's book.
He just said it's right there. They're generic. They're bland. It's like white bread. I mean, they're average at best. They're not great. They're not bad. They're average. Just like the panels. The panels are medium shots. Medium shots are very average. And you're paying a lot for an average comic. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah, we don't want to get Drew in trouble, guys. Come on. You know there's blacklist out there. We got EVS in enough trouble by having him on here. Tell us stuff. I won't tell you how many comments I've gotten blaming me for EVS, quote unquote, backstabbing Eric July.
I've been an Ethan Van Sciver fan since I was a kid, and I've got a short box of all of his comics, and I've got one of my bookcases. I've got the Green Lantern Rebirth, because I remember reading that when I was in the Air Force and just being blown away by his art, and I love it.
And so I got to ask, because there's been a highly contested debate online in the last couple of weeks. Do you feel that AI art is real art, or is it not?
I don't believe it's real art. It's not. It's imitation of real art. That's what it's an imitation. I liken it to a comparison of it reminds me of the film The Fly with Jeff Goldblum. There's a scene where he puts a steak, cooks a steak and puts it through the teleporter, and Gina Davis says it tastes synthetic. Yeah, the machine it produced something that it imitated a steak. That's what I feel like AI is. AI is imitating art, and the eyes are very, very. Our human eyes are very detailed, and they can tell when something looks real when it doesn't. And it's just AI. It's not real. There's no effort in it. It's imitation, and I don't like imitation. This art, these pages. This is not imitation. This is real. And like I said, you can buy these pages right now. So one or two of these pages are left, I think. You can buy the real thing. Actual human hand drew this. That took time.
Yeah, let's see. Going down to the bottom, you can. All this looks great, fantastic. Ooh, got a question mark. What's that?
Oh, that was the we got to update that. That was the Marat cover.
So look at it. That's it. We found the mistake with this campaign, guys. It's over. It's no good. Possibly.
Damn it.
$10 plastic stand, an inked bust sketch. Looking at it. Get an inked bust commission by Aurelio. You will let him know the character in banker kit.
Yeah, whatever you want, whatever character you want. If you want yourself, if you want Judge Dredd, they want you drawn. There you go. They can get that.
Who, me? You can't draw me.
They can draw your the frog right there.
Yeah, that's AI art. So I gotta eventually get that done by a real artist. One of the fans actually did it in the AI. I was like, oh yeah, that's better than the crappy one that I had. So I'll just take that over. So we've been here 46 minutes. We all love the campaign. It's been funded. You're getting ready to take over the world. You're going to dominate the comic book industry. You're going to have like 16 warehouses, 27 vans. Any other plans?
There's big news coming, or should be some big news coming next year. I can't say what it is. Things are still in the works. Trust me, this is not the last you're going to be hearing of me or Unholy Nightmare.
Angel Studios? Is it Angel Studios?
No, I can say it's not that.
Damn. Yeah, to me, this is almost perfect for a cartoon series, animated series.
And actually, Aaron Sparrow, he loves the character the Recluse so much. He's actually going to be making he's going to be doing like a 3D sculpt bust or whatever, like a 3D statue, action figure based on him. I was like, dude, if you're making one for me too. All right, you're making 2 of those.
Primetime Fry says, congratulations on the campaign.
Thank you very much. I hope you backed it, or hope you consider backing it, man. If I have anyone in the comments, if I have not sold you on this comic, I tell this to everyone. I tell this on every stream. If I have not sold you on this comic, please reach out to me on Facebook, Instagram, Dolan Waddick. I'll gladly talk to you, and I'll do whatever I can to put you in this comic, because I believe you will love this comic. You're going to want to tell your friends about it. They're going to want to tell their friends about it. They're going to tell their kids. They're going to be blown away by this. Trust me. You're not going to want to miss out on this.
Yeah, like I said, I'm definitely get it. I'm going to get it. I'll review it. I'll let my fans know what I think of it. They don't really care what I think anyway, but I'll let them know anyway.
I was showing EBS these pages behind the scenes, and he was blown away by the interior art. Ethan approves of this art.
I know Ethan said he was reaching out to other artists and trying to get more books under the little label of Comicsgate and all that. I know in one of the other interviews you said you didn't want to go to like one of the big publishers because you wanted to retain control over your characters and stuff.
Yeah.
So
that's Aurelio and I. That's our plan as well. Aurelio and I agreed when we're doing this is 50-50, and he and I own the property. We're not if someone were to pick this up, that's our stipulation. We own it. If they say no, all right, we're walking.
That's the way to do it, because I mean, just like I said, just looking at this, looking at the characters, they're unique, they're interesting. This is going to print money.
Yeah, and with issue 2, we've got even more characters we're introducing. It's when I wrote issue 1, I knew from the get-go, because I've experienced enough. Like, if you don't want to bombard the reader with every damn character in the first issue, you don't want to do that. It's too much. So we're spacing it out. Issue 2, we're going to get more characters. Issue 3, we're going to get a couple more, and just let it breathe.
And where'd you guys come up with the name Mutant Farm Comics?
So I think Aurelio had that. Aurelio just was sitting on that logo and that name for the longest time, and he just didn't use it. And I was like, dude, that's a cool name for a publishing company. It's unique. I love the design. I'm like, dude, that's perfect. And yeah, that's our so we're co-publishers in Mutant Farm Comics.
Sandman says, I've never banked an indie project before, but I'll consider it.
Thank you, Sandman. I truly appreciate it. Yeah. Really, you're not going to want to miss. I know I've said it before. Around this time next year, by this time next year, you're not going to miss out on this.
And so the campaign is ending in
End of November.
End of November. And when will the books be shipped out? Are they pre-printed?
So we're at the earliest we're planning on April to start shipping, but at the absolute drop dead latest it'll be October, just in case there's hiccups, there's printing shortages, because the industry's experienced that supply chain issues. Yeah. So October is a just in case the fit hits the shan, but it shouldn't come to that. Hopefully, knock on wood. But I guess we still got to finish the comic first. 6 pages are done. We got to finish the last 20. Hopefully, we'll be done quick, and then we can just go from there. Hopefully, at the earliest, get these out in spring next year.
So, will the digital be going out before the printed, or?
I believe maybe probably about maybe I got to talk to Murphy about that. Once it probably it should. Yeah, if it's done, then yeah, it should. But we'll talk. I'll talk to her about that.
So I suggest you guys get the digital as well as any physical copy. That way, you got one to read and then you got one to save.
Yeah, because I will. Yeah, you know what? Yeah, you don't. Yeah, exactly. Same, mate. You don't want to overdo it. You just want a roll bill. You want it to breathe. Want it to flow naturally. Don't want to just ram it all in there and one go in the first issue, because I think that's what a lot of writers incorrectly do by jamming everything into the first issue. It's like, no, don't do that. That's stupid. You're going to bombard the reader. They're going to get bored. They're going to tune out because there's too much information overload. You don't want to do that. So just with this, you get just enough, for you to come back. You can learn more in a second issue. You can learn even more in a third. Each issue, you're just learning more and more and more. I'm telling you what you need to know when you know it. It's the Alfred Hitchcock approach.
Like I said, sounds fantastic. It sounds like you know what you're doing. I have full faith, full confidence that it's going to be a good comic. So I do suggest anybody who's watching this now live or watching on the replay, back this comic. I'll definitely put the link. It's going to be in the description of the video, and I'll pin the top comments on this. Anything else you want to say before we leave, before we wrap this up, Drew? I don't want to keep you here forever.
Yeah, I want to say thank you. Thank you, Tony. I truly appreciate you having me on, having me be able to share the campaign. Aurelio, thanks you. So does Murphy. So does the whole team. Anyone in the comments, if you haven't backed it yet, I really truly hope you do consider backing this. And like I said before, I'll say it again. If I haven't sold you on this yet, please do reach out to me on Facebook or Instagram. We can talk about this, and I'll see what I can do to get you into this comic, because you do not want to miss out on this. You don't at all.
All right, everybody. One last time, I'm telling you guys to go back this, support Drew. He's a critic, made good. He's going to do all kind of awesome things in the future. He's done awesome things in the past. And we look forward to him being too popular and too important to ever come back on this tiny, tiny channel.
No, you got to stay humble. You got to eat that humble pie. You got to know where you began. You got to remember those names and places. You got to keep them there. Keep going back to them.
I like that approach. It makes me want to bank you even more.
Thank you. Right, it's the Midwest approach. We're Midwest guys. That's how it works.
Yeah. Are you going to be at C2 E2 this year or next year?
Yep, that's the plan. I'll be at C2 E2. I'll be at MegaCon as well. I'll be at hopefully Dallas Fan Expo. I should be at New York Comic Con as well, and maybe 1 or 2 more shows as well next year. I typically do 3 to 5 shows a year, but since I'm getting my name out there more, we'll see what happens.
Fantastic. All right, everybody. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you for being here, Drew. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
I look forward to the continuous coverage of this. I'm going to put a pin on this. So when number 2 comes out, we're going to talk about it. Number 3, 4, the whole works. We're going to follow this the whole way through. So don't disappoint me.
That is the plan. I do not want to disappoint you.
All right. Thanks again. Everybody, love, peace, booty grease. We out this bitch.